Is an LLC a business license? In this video, we'll discuss both and what you need to know about each. Let's first start off with the LLC. So the LLC stands for Limited Liability Company. And the first LLC in the US came into being in 1977 when the Wyoming legislature allowed them. And the unique feature about the LLC is all the flexibility that they offer. Because the LLC is a flexible entity, there's a lot of unique features about it. The first feature is the limited liability. This means that when you start up an LLC and put money into it, if your LLC is sued, your liability is limited to the money that you put into it. And that's really beneficial because when your business is sued, you don't want to have your personal assets on the table. The second unique feature about the LLC is who can own it. An LLC can be owned by individuals, but they could also be owned by corporations and trusts in certain situations. The third key feature about the LLC is the management, and there's two different ways that you can manage an LLC. The first type of management is called member managed, and this is where the ownership and the management are the same. But on the other hand, the second type of management structure is called manager managed, and this is where the ownership and the management can be different. The last unique feature about the LLC is its tax flexibility. It could be taxed as a C Corp, where you face two levels of taxation, one at the entity level and one at the individual level. It can also be taxed as an S Corp, where you can set a reasonable salary for yourself, and then all the profits and losses of the business flow onto your individual tax returns, which means that there's only one level of tax, unlike the C Corp. LLCs can also be taxed as partnerships, where you have two or more people in a passive business, and in that case, all the profits and losses flow onto each partner's individual returns. And lastly, an LLC can be taxed as a disregarded entity. This is where you only have one owner of the LLC, but all the profits and losses flow through onto that owner's individual tax returns. So if you're enticed by all these unique features, how exactly do you form an LLC? Well, you do so by filing the Articles of Organization with the Secretary of State. And on top of this, you must provide a registered agent address when you do so. And when the LLC is formed, you're going to need to get an EIN number from the IRS. And this will help you set up a bank account for your LLC. And on top of that, the EIN number is like a social security number for your business. The next thing you'll need to do is to draft an operating agreement, which is the governing document for your LLC. And you'll also need to draft minutes of your first meeting, because when you have an LLC, it's best to hold annual meetings and have minutes of those meetings. And lastly, when you set up an LLC, you're going to need to comply with the new Corporate Transparency Act. So within 30 days of forming your LLC, you're going to need to submit your BOI report to FinCEN. And if you don't do this, you can face up to $10,000 in fines or 2 years in jail. Now, all of this may sound like a lot, but luckily, we here at Corporate Direct would be happy to help you out. Please click the link below to schedule a free 15-minute consultation with one of our incorporating specialists. Let's move along to business licenses. Unlike an LLC, a business license is a permit that you obtain with a certain governmental agency. And when you have that permit, you're allowed to conduct business in a certain jurisdiction. And I should note that these business licenses are also called business permits. And there are a few different types of business licenses and permits that you can obtain. The first is a general business license. And this could be with the state, the county, the city, or another local jurisdiction. And the second type of license is a specific license. And these licenses allow you to practice certain professions like law or medicine, or they allow you to sell certain goods like liquor and tobacco. So why do you need a business license? Well, you may need one to legally conduct business somewhere, like a city or a county. And if you need one, but you don't have one, well, in that case, you're breaking the law, which is something that I don't recommend you do. So what are the steps that you can take to obtain a business license? Well, the first thing you can do is to go online and check with the state, the county, or the city that you're in to see if you need a specific license to conduct business. And if you need one, it's important to follow the steps, complete the application, and get that license as soon as possible, because you're going to need it to conduct business. And you're going to want to be in proper compliance with your local jurisdiction, because if you're not, you could be hit with significant penalties. So what are the differences between LLCs and business licenses? Well, an LLC is an entity that's created by filing a document with the Secretary of State, whereas a business license is a permit that you obtain with either the state, the county, or the city that you're in. So in short, an LLC is an entity and a business license is a permit. And on top of this, LLCs and business licenses serve different purposes. Now, while an LLC is not required, it's best to have one in the event that your business is sued. Because when your business is sued and you have an LLC, it limits your liability, which means that your personal assets are not on the table. On the other hand, a business license is a legal prerequisite to conduct business somewhere. And in most cases, having both is important for your business's development. So when do you need an LLC, a business license, or both? Well, for an LLC, you don't necessarily need one, but it's much better to have one as opposed to not having one. And this is because, as I just mentioned, it limits your liability when your business is sued. As for a business license, if your jurisdiction doesn't require it, you don't need it. But if they do, then you're gonna need to have it. LLCs and business licenses are two different things, but in a lot of situations, it's best to have both, because if you do, it'll really protect your business going forward. I also have a new book called The 5 Tricks to Teach Your Kids About Money. You can download the book for free by clicking the link in the description below. If you're looking to start a business, you can schedule a free 15-minute consultation with us at Corporate Direct by also clicking the link in the description below. And as always, please make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and turn on that notification bell. And I should warn you, the contents of this video are not legal advice and no attorney-client relationship has been formed.